Yo guys, what's going on? Sniper Drift is back with another weekly analysis, live analysis, I think. And all I do in these is I kind of just go over the stocks I'm looking at investing in, or like trades I'm looking at entering in on. And yeah, that's really it. So before I start, I should actually get some music up, or else it's going to be a really dry stream. So obviously I'm going to go to my trusty Lo-fi. All right, so we'll get that set up. How loud is that? That looks pretty loud. It's even loud for me. Maybe that's a bit better there. Oh, and that should be good. Alright, that should be better. And yeah, so right now, if you guys don't know much about me, it's your first time watching or whatever, I kind of just trade. I'm trying to do right now the FTMO 100k challenge, where basically I need to get 10k in a month, and I started last week. And right now I'm currently at 4.5k. So if you guys do actually want to kind of check that one out there, then I'll try and put it in chat, my YouTube. So whoops, so there you go. In chat you can see my YouTube on my weekly recap. You'll see the trades I took, and yeah, anyway, with that said, we'll just start heading into the analysis for these pairs. And yeah, so taking a look here at UJ, I can kind of just see that it's continuing this downtrend movement here. We'll get rid of this fib since it's no longer relevant. And I've actually got a new setup, kind of like I updated my setup where I got another monitor. And if you want to see that, video on that will come out next week. But yeah, so here I'm just going to use my fib from this high down to this low. I can see that there's this key level here that would have been a decent entry point on this key level, but you can see that it does have to kind of come up here closer towards that 0.7 area. So after I see it reject kind of at this well, not reject at this 0.6, I look to see rejection at this 0.7 where there is another key level. So I probably would have entered in here somewhere, but I would have liked to see it kind of test this area. But right now it would still be decent if you were already in this trade here to kind of continue this trade here towards the downside. For me personally, I'm not really going to enter in on it, but because it is in this downtrend here, I'm going to be looking for a break and retest of these lows down here. And yeah, that's really it for this pair. And so we'll just head on to the next one. So take a look here at USD CHF. You can see I was kind of waiting for it to break above this point of resistance here, and I wanted to enter in on a buy, start taking this pair towards the upside. But we can see that the whole week it wasn't actually able to go past this point here. So hold on, what was I thinking? Oh yeah, so here I'm just going to put in this little down area here because it's looking like it's coming down. Now we could kind of say that maybe I'll use fib from this high up here down to this low. We can see that an entry point in between this 0.5 to 0.6 on this key level here would be a decent sell point to enter in there. Set the stop loss at around 0.7. You can see here that if I risk 2% on this trade, I'd bag just short of that 4k. I'd just be short of 4k. So that's kind of the trade that I would be looking for here. So maybe I would be looking once again for it to kind of enter closer towards my entry point. But like really, that's just it for this pair. Like I've already marked down kind of those levels that I'm interested in it, and then so all I have to do is kind of just react to the markets and do whatever it tells me, right? So if I go on to the next pair, so USD has still kind of been dropping, which I'm pretty surprised about. We can see here that there was kind of this level here is still being respected quite a lot. So maybe if I just zoom in here, I can still kind of see that there is a bit of rejection here. So there's a bit of resistance at this point here, and then here it's looking like there's a bit of a support level there, and it has been going in this uptrend. So maybe we'll just see what the fib tells us here. If it's continuing this downtrend, you can see that it did go above this 0.68 area. So for me, I wouldn't really look to enter in this pair on a sell opportunity. for me, I would probably just wait to see how it reacts to these highs up here. Hopefully it can break and retest those points up there. So I would like it to look something similar to break it up, come back down, then continue up like that on this pair, simply because I just don't see enough kind of validation in this downtrend movement here so far. So that's what I'm looking for on my USD CAD position. And now if I go to NZD USD, I can see here that it is also still kind of in this downtrend, right? So once again, I don't know if you guys can see or have seen my setup, but on top of my desk, I've kind of got like this little one sheet page that has Trading Rules 101, and it only has 3 rules on it, right? It's so simple, and all it is trade with the trend, ensure fib 0.5 to 0.61 has a key level in between. So we make sure that that's there, and then that's really the entire strategy. And then the third rule is kind of just an exit strategy where it's move stop loss to break even after it hits 1% profit. So once it hits $1,000 in profit, that's when I kind of look to move my stop loss to break even, because then even if it goes the other way, I'll still make a bit of money. And then once it hits 1-to-1 risk to reward, so once it hits $2,000, I like to close half of the position, so I've actually secured at least 1% in that trade, and possibly the trade can continue going and hitting my take profit, so I actually end up just making 2.5k or even 3k. But if it loses, then I'll still make 1k, you know what I'm saying? So taking a look here, if I was to use a fib, I'd probably choose these highs here, but I can see that it's really just back up to those areas. So it's looking like it's kind of just broken a bit of this downtrend structure, right? So I can see it's broken this downtrend structure, assessing this area here. We can see that there is a bit of a level here where it's a bit of support there, support here, and now it's resistance. So there's that double top. I reckon it's going to come back and test it again for the 3rd time possibly. So I'm gonna just mark that area there like that. And then here we're just gonna see kind of how the market reacts. Right now, it's not really in a good place to trade, because you can see here on the OBV, it's kind of in the middle of the oversold and the overbought and the oversold. It's kind of in the middle there. Want to become famous, buy followers, primes, and viewers on bro, that ain't me. Anyway, but you know, I'm actually 1 follower off of 300 followers on Twitch, so you know what to do, get me up on that bad boy. That was cringe. But yeah, on NZD USD here, I'm not really looking at any trades like right now currently, so I'm just gonna move on. The taking a look here at NJ, if I take a look and I just zoom out here, I'm kind of saying that it did test these highs up here. Wait, maybe it's been in this extremely long uptrend, right? And now it's looking like it's unable to create higher highs. So if I was to use probably just a massive fib, we can see where it's rejecting, and for me it looks like the 0.61. So if so here we can see that it rejected kind of at this 0.786, and then now it's saying here that it's going to start dropping. So possibly for me, if I can see kind of a break and retest of this area here, possibly I could enter in, but as of right now, it's kind of, I feel a bit late for me to enter in on this trade, especially because here we can see that after it came up to this 0.78, it came back, well, we can see that it beat the 0.6, came up here to around this 0.78 around here, and then came back down to 0.5, showed a bit of rejection, went back up, came back down, and now it's continuing to show that rejection there. So it's not really the greatest trading setup to enter in on, but some people might see it differently and might actually want to enter in on a trade. So here we'll take a look at this pair here. You can see this trade here. So you can see, right, like I'm just straight up honest. So on my GBP USD pair, it just straight up hit my stop loss, right? But if you take a look at my weekly recap, this trade actually closed in profit for me. Like I made money off of a losing trade, and that's really what good risk to reward management can help you do. So it's really not science or anything, like there's nothing, you just really need to just have good risk to reward management, and even if trades don't go your way, you can still make money, right? So as long as you have good risk reward management, you can still make some money. So here we can see that I ended up breaking above these highs here, which I wasn't actually expecting during the week. But if I was to use basically this high, so if I was to use this high up here and then come back down and use these lows here, I can see that on that 0.5 area there, on this key level there, would have been a good sell entry. Fortunately I missed it, so that's just you know, it's just unlucky, I guess. If I'm gonna just move this up a bit more here, this level here, just to make it a bit more relevant. We can see there it's a bit of support here, a bit of resistance over here, and we can see that it's basically a support level that, oops, had the bet. But yeah, so not really looking at entering in on those setups. Now we can see here, big trade here, 2.56 risk reward management. Look at how close it was to hitting my stop loss. Like if we actually look at that, hold on, we'll 54.5. It was literally 1.7 or so pips off of hitting my my stop loss, which is super lucky. Like I did not expect that, but I'm grateful. I ended up closing this trade just over 1-to-1 risk reward ratio as I woke up, something like this here, and you know, I'm happy with this. But something I should have just really stayed to my risk reward management. I just got greedy here and I wanted to close my profits, right? And the reason why that is because it was so close to hitting my stop loss. So I knew how much money I could have lost, and that made me a bit paranoid and anxious. So then I actually just ended up closing the position at, you know, a decent profit. And there's nothing really, I don't think there's anything wrong with closing trades at at least a 1% in profit. As long as your trades are being closed at least a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, I think that it's perfectly fine. But here, I'm gonna just zoom out here, see if I can kind of see what's happening on the 4-hour chart on this pair here. Kind of delete this fib here just to clean it up a bit. So I'm saying that there is this big resistance up there, but I can also see that there is this point of resistance here that is a bit less. So we can already see there that it's starting to see that rejection there. There couldn't possibly be kind of a double top forming, like if we would have one there. How do I favorite this actually? There we go. We can see another double top form here. So here we can possibly just end up seeing this pair just tank all the way down. You know, there might be a good sign to enter in on, but we're gonna have to see on the 1 hour where we can find our entries on those retracements, right? So I'm gonna just delete these. If you guys want to know how much I made last week on that FTMO challenge, I actually ended up making around 2.5k, and in 1 week in total, I made 4.5k. So, and like, if people think that I'm not showing them everything, they're kind of just dumb in my opinion, but you know, I guess it is what it is. So we'll just head over. There's like, right now, taking a look at the charts, nothing really looks like a really nice setup, just in my opinion. Like this level here doesn't really seem too relevant, so I'm gonna delete that. This level here does seem still relevant, but there's also this area here that I think is kind of relevant, so I'm gonna mark that up. Oh shit, just move that whole level. I do still think that this level here is pretty relevant, so I'm gonna just drag those ones along. Hopefully, I just think that this pair here is going to start heading towards the downside. I'm not really sure where to use the fib because there wasn't really a clear high except for this point up here, so I'm not really looking for a decent fib here. But we can see here there's definitely a clear high right here, so we'll use a fib from there, probably down to this. If it goes down to here, retraces back up here, we could enter in on that 0.5 and take it back down towards like the downside. Like it's really that simple. Like once you have your levels marked, then trading becomes so easy. Well, I don't want to say easy because I know for some people that like it is just really hard, right? But it becomes so simple where you don't really need to think too much. You know what I'm saying? Like here, I'm just marking up these levels here, kind of just saying where it can be relevant. So like this level here, I don't really think it's too relevant now, so I'm gonna just get rid of it. And yeah, I'm gonna be looking for a break and retest of this area here, simply because I think that there is a really strong point of resistance, like here and here. If it does end up breaking that, I think that it's just gonna come down, retest, and continue shooting towards the upside. But once again, that's just what I think might happen. And if it does happen, I'll just be entering in on a buy. It's just like, it's really just simple, right? And if that doesn't happen, I'll just be waiting until the next trading setup occurs. And yeah, like that's really just all there is. So if I take a look here and I use fib from this high to this low, this is what I'm saying. So right here, I'm saying this downtrend. So I'm going to use fib from this high to this low. Bang. So I can see once again there is that more rejection at that 0.7 area. If I do see continuation of continuing to go downwards, then possibly I will enter in on a sell from here back down to around here, or even where it is right now, right? So if I was to just kind of set my entry point there, that way I could just have my stop loss even tighter, just like that. So there I could make around 2 risk reward ratio there. So that there could be a good trade as well. Might just keep this one pinned here, see how it reacts in the morning, on Monday morning when market opens for me. And yeah, so like taking a look here, I'm gonna just see, I'm gonna delete this big ass level. Actually no, I think that's super relevant there with that support level. I actually think that this pair here is looking good for a buy because it's coming back to retest kind of, but let's just check the 4 hour. This one's a tricky pair. You can see that it has hit this extreme high. Possibly it's just coming back down. So we're going to use an absolutely massive fib on the 4 hour fib. We can see here on this 0.5 right there, we're seeing that. So this here, we can see this obvious downtrend here. Oops. So here, bang, we can see this downtrend from this high to this low. Here we can see that there is this key level here on this 0.5 area, and then that just means like we can enter in there on a sell and kind of really just target these lows. But a key point to kind of be wary about is that it did end up coming around here and wasn't able to continue all the way down. So you know, just gonna have to be careful on this pair. It really isn't the greatest setup, or just in my opinion, but once again, we're just going to look for, during the week, kind of just enough signs to actually enter in on this trade here. What else is there? So here, taking a look at Euro GBP, it's kind of hitting this low, but it is in this continued downtrend. So if we can see a break these lows down here, so I'm going to just mark this up here with a square and get rid of this line here. There we go. So if I can actually see it break these lows here, then I might just enter in on another break and retest of this low. Like, it's really that simple. And if it just goes up, then I'm going to wait for it to break and retest the second time, and then that's when I'll be looking in for an entry, right? So like here, I can see that it was in this downtrend here for a while. Let's just move this. I can see here that it was in this downtrend for a while. Now it's in this uptrend here, so it broke once, broke twice, but hasn't really come back enough for me to look to enter back in on a buy. So then I'm just going to wait for a correction. And taking a look here at AD USD, I was kind of expecting it to start heading down. You can see here that I did use a fib, but I didn't actually enter in on it. Simply, I just wasn't getting kind of the signs that I should be entering in on this pair. So maybe if we were to use fib from this high, then we can see where our key level falls into. So if it hits this low, comes back up, retests this 0.5 area, then we could just enter in from here to there, set our stop loss there. You can see we've got that 1.8 risk reward ratio, which is more than good. I think anything more than 1 is great. And yeah, So like, and also like, even if as soon as it goes into like a little bit of profit, like even just like if I'm risking 2% here and it goes basically 16 pips in profit, only halfway, then I'll move my stop loss break even. So it really just increases your chance of winning, or it decreases your chances of losing, however you want to look at it, right? But now we're basically just done. You can see here Apple's actually gone through the roof. I didn't actually see that. Microsoft actually went through the roof as well. AMD's coming back down. It's kind of chilling, but I remember I missed the big spike that I had, so that was unfortunate. Like I wanted to enter in like around here, but then it just shut off, which is kind of cringe, bro. But then I can also see like Tesla. I have some shares in Tesla, and goddamn, I love this company, right? But that's really going to be it for today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. For those on YouTube, this is just going to be the end, and for those on Twitch, if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll see you guys next week, or you guys can check out my YouTube and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, with that said, guys, that's going to be it from me, and see ya.